I'm not going to say it won't hurt some folks, right? Folks who are playing at like a 0 to 50 in that kind of range, right? I'm playing 90 to 100, right? Yeah. And sometimes you end up in a place well different than where you thought you were going to end up when you started. But you spend so much time always moving forward that you don't look behind you, right? And you don't figure out like what you left behind and how things looked then versus now. And that's important because then you can kind of get a gauge on what things might look like in the future, or maybe what the pace of future advances might look like.
Absolutely. Welcome to episode 4 of The Intersection by Leyden. First off, before we welcome our guest, just want to thank everyone for the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, the subscribes. So much energy around The Intersection. So grateful. We've had some great guests. The first one that I'm sure you saw was our team, Jim Michael, Gene O'Brien, myself. Second one was Quentin Harris. Quentin Q just crushed it. So great. Great friend of Leyden. Just a great interview and doing some amazing stuff. Our third episode, Candace Lenti from Wintrust. Oh my gosh. If you haven't seen that one, go back and rewatch number 3. But today, so fired up to welcome Cory Wesley to our podcast, to The Intersection. The man is all about the intersection, right? And you'll hear why I say that, because Cory's running a business. He's sitting on nonprofit boards. He's sitting on the village board, right? And again, I don't know what you do, but you do it all. I'm not sure how you're able to do it. But right now, welcome, Cory.
Thanks, RJ. I'm delighted to be here.
So great. So great. Thanks for saying yes. Thanks for joining us, right?
No, of course. Thanks for asking.
Oh, my gosh. You know, there are certain people in my universe, in my orbit, that I know will probably say yes. So you're one of those. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny. In my day job, what I tell people all the time is to say yes to everything, right?
There you go. I love that.
Yeah, because you never know when the next opportunity is going to present itself, right?
Absolutely.
But you know that you won't see it if you say no.
No, totally. My wife and I joke, we're empty nesters. Our kids are in their 30s. They're old, right? Don't just toss out an invitation to the McMahons like a courtesy, like, oh, we'll just invite the McMahons. No, we'll say yes. We'll come. We're America's guests. So don't just toss something out there, right? It's that whole, just say yes. We'll figure out how we're going to do it.
Absolutely.
We're in, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, careful, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because if you ask, I'm trying to figure out how we can make it work.
Exactly. Yeah. There's sometimes where you want to just get credit for the ask, but you really don't want to hang out with somebody, right? So this is not that instance. I was so psyched when you said yes. I figured you would, but I just wanted to say yes, right?
Yeah, no, the timing was great. I just finished up with 2 clients, and so my schedule's a little bit more flexible now.
I love that.
Yeah, so you're like, hey, you want to come down? I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that. So welcome. So psyched. Can't wait to hear more about your journey, right? I mean, We've known each other for years now, and I feel like every time we get together, we kind of cut it up, right? And
we do. We do.
So I'm kind of thankful that we'll have others to join us here today to watch this fun, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely, right? Because typically it's like at breakfast or something like that. It's just me and you. And,
just you and me, right? Exactly. Hanging at Al's Grill, just having, right?
Right, and then it can go, right? Like, I mean, we can, we're going to sit down for half hour, right?
Next
thing you know, it's like 2 hours.
Exactly.
Like, one of us, we got to do real work.
Somebody missed something, right?
Yes.
So again, thanks for joining us. So just, gosh, how did we get here, right? So you're running a business, you decided to throw your hat in the ring to sit on the village board.
I know what I was thinking about that.
This isn't technically a therapy session, but happy to go down that road if that works for you.
I am more than happy to explore it because that's actually part of the way that I got here. So part of the reason that we know each other is because Dino Andrews joined the board here.
Exactly.
He's a former village board member. I met Dino when I ran for office the first time back in 2019.
There you go.
And so I did not win during that race. I lost by about 50 votes. Talk about like a soul crusher, right?
Oh.
But I mean,
but you're still standing. You're still getting it done.
Still standing, right? And I don't like losing, so I came back and ran again. Had to go for the redemption arc.
Absolutely,
right?
love it.
But one of those things is that I met a lot of people along the way, and Dino was one of those people. And he was like, "Hey, I'm going to join the board of Leyden, and you want to come serve with me?" I was like, yeah, I'll come serve with you. That sounds like an amazing mission. Absolutely, let's do it. Right. And then so he invited me over. Then I met you. Right. And then we talked about it, and you were like, okay, I'm a good fit. So that was great. Got past that hurdle.
I really have a high bar too, by the way.
Hey, I think you do. And so, fast forward, here I am. Right. And so it's been a pleasure. Honestly,
so great.
This is some of the most impactful work that I do.
That's great.
And
love hearing that.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And so, for me, this is, I'm do so much, and people always ask me, so what are you going to stop doing?
Right.
Not this.
Right. Well, that's so great. I love hearing that. Right. And it's, you just approach it from the right perspective, right? That it's not a drag on your time, which is really impressive because, there are things that we all do that we all kind of get sucked into, or that even if it's our choice, it's like, oh, I can't believe I got to do that tonight, right? I don't ever get that sense from you. I feel like, no, you always rise up and like, I get to do this.
Yes. Like this thing right here, because of the impact that it has for folks who can't make that impact for themselves. Right. Like, and it's really hard. Like a lot of people have a hard time asking for help. Right. But then when you find folks who, are in the position where they can't even advocate for themselves in a certain way. Right. And that you can, to me, it feels like an obligation. That's right. So like, great. It's like I have to do this. Right. Not just because I want to and I do. Right. But because as people, right, we should be always looking out for those who can't advocate for themselves.
I love that, Cory. Right? It's that moral imperative, right?
Absolutely. And what's sad, though, is that, in this country, we're a very advocacy-driven country, right? Like you don't get what you don't get it unless you can ask for it. Right. Like there's no one just kind of floating out. It's like, hey, look at that guy over there. Here, you look like you need shoes. There you go. Right. Like that doesn't happen. Right. Like you have to, like a closed mouth doesn't get fed in America. Right. And some people, don't understand that, don't know that. Lots of folks, right? Like a lot of people in my orbit. When folks move to Oak Park, I'm always having to explain to them, hey, you're going to get the best out of the school system. Right. Once you learn how to advocate for your kid in the school system, right? Like it doesn't really matter like what lane you're in. It's like we're just an advocacy-driven country if you want to get the best results.
That's a really interesting perspective, right? And do you see that, or do you hear from friends in other parts of the either Chicagoland area or in other parts of the country that have that same advocacy? I got to be that person, right?
Yeah, probably, but no one's really kind of explained it in the same way to me that I just said it to you.
Right.
But, yeah, and maybe I just spend a little bit more time, thinking about this because, as you mentioned in the intro, and that was a great intro, by the way. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I think I hit everything you gave me, right?
Yes, I appreciate that. Checks in the mail. But I'm on a number of nonprofit boards, right? And I do that work because somebody should do that work, right? And so I do the things that I feel like aligns with, how I can make an impact, right. And I feel like this is a place where I hopefully have made an impact, and hope to continue to do so.
Absolutely, and again, I'll just double down on when we're together, whether it's in a board meeting, whether it's at breakfast, wherever it is, you always feel present. Like you are present, and again, that's a skill that not everyone can bring to the table, right? And with as many things floating around in your head. How do you do that? How are you able to kind of lock in and be present wherever you are with the person sitting across from you, the meeting you're in?
It's honestly practice, right? And it's really hard, right? Because in 2025, right? I got a smartwatch, right? I got a smartphone in my pocket, right? Like it's constantly vibrating or dinging or something, right? And it's that temptation to look at it and figure out, what's going on right now, right? Like it is an ever-present temptation, right? And I am very digitally connected, right? It's my day job.
You are.
I love
it. Exactly. You have to be.
Yeah.
Right?
I've loved tech since I was a kid. Before big tech.
Right. When it was just what was the first one?
Oh man,
Commodore 64.
My first computer was a Radio Shack TRS 80.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're talking old school.
How's Radio Shack doing these days?
Yeah, that's a good question. Haven't seen one around in a while.
Did you ever see that ad that showed like 13 or 14 different products, and it was a Radio Shack ad, and somebody had the ad and the picture of their smartphone? Like, I have all these on my smartphone. I don't need, right?
Yes.
Like, holy cow. Who would have thunk, right?
Yeah. Like, there's no way you could have convinced me in, like, 1990, whatever, right? Like, we'd have basically the Library of Alexandria in our pocket.
Exactly, right?
Like,
yeah, crazy.
That is just crazy, is where we are.
Right.
Like, so many teachers, right? Like, back then, it's like, hey, you got to learn how to do this math because you won't have a calculator with you all the time. Yeah, joke's on you.
Exactly. Actually, I do.
I do, right? And not only that, now I've got AI, so I got a supercomputer in my pocket with me all the time. So
don't forget that we still have to think, right?
Yes.
Right? So again, that goes back to, all right, how do you remain present? And given all of that, like I got an analog here, right? Like I can't have any more technology on me because I don't know that I'd be able to stay present.
Yeah, for some things I just make the time, right? Like, so when I come to an Oak Lighting board meeting, right? Like, this is what I'm here to do, right? And so I just turn that stuff off.
That's great.
And so unless it's actually a phone call, right, then I'm basically I'm tuned out. Whatever it is can wait.
That's impressive. That's impressive, right? And so how do you impart that on your kids, right? Because you've got young kids that are growing up in technology, right? How do you bridge that world?
Yeah, so that one's both easy and hard at the same time.
It's fascinating.
So I have kids that they're digitally native, right? Like, so they are very at home, using whatever technology, be it an iPad, be it a phone, be it a computer, right? And that's by intention, right? Because that's the world.
Totally.
In 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is, when they're out and they're like in the job market or whatever, those are the skills that they're going to need.
That's the fluency that they will need, right?
Absolutely. And so I don't want to just start teaching them that when they're 21. Right. Like, I want them to know by now, right? Like,
completely.
They have these skills so that they, have that.
Keep building them, keep growing them, right?
Absolutely. Right. Because they need that common vocabulary so that they communicate with everybody else. But at the same time, right, like, you want to make sure that they're not just trapped in that digital kind of landscape and not living life.
Right.
It's funny. I've got weird kids, right? So as soon as they come in the house, right, like the phone, it is lost. Like, nobody knows where the phone is, right? Like, the only time they actually care about the phone is when they leave the house. And that's so that they can get a ride. So, like, if they're going to school, they have the phone.
Uber. They're Uber dad, right?
Yes, exactly. So they go to school, they have the phone with them. They have the phone with them just to make sure that we're going to pick them up.
Right. There he goes.
Yeah, if they go out with friends,
hilarious.
That's exactly why they have the phone. They have the phone just to make sure they're going to get a ride back.
I love that.
Yeah.
Right.
And so then they get home, they toss it, right?
Gone.
Yeah. So
that's
now,
interesting.
Yeah, but the iPad now is a little different.
So a little screen, right?
It's a bigger screen, so it's a little bit more kind of watching like meme stuff on YouTube or what have you. So working on that a little bit. But honestly, they also use it to watch videos that are very informative. Right?
Okay. So they're learning stuff that you and I never had a chance to learn, right?
Absolutely.
Certainly in that environment, let alone, what do we do? Pull Encyclopedia Britannica out?
That's what I did.
Right? Totally.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the one that my folks had in our living room was probably 15 years old when I started using it in grammar school.
Yeah,
right?
Seriously, right? So it's the 80s, early 90s, right? And I'm using the World Book from 1978, right? So
exactly. How was the world back in 78, right?
Yes.
Did we ever ask that question?
Never asked that question. We just assumed that the encyclopedia from 1978 was still
updated.
Right?
Hilarious. That's awesome.
It is amazing. I've got this book of these Charlie Brown encyclopedias that came out way back in the 80s, right? And my mom would go in and get them, like, they would introduce a new one every week in Jewel, right? So she'd buy them. Yeah, and they're amazing, but they do not hold up well.
Even Charlie Brown?
Even Charlie Brown. Like, you go in there and you read some of the facts.
Oh,
right? There were facts back then. Some of those things are not facts.
No. We will not be posting anything about those facts.
Yes. Right? And this is like, the pace of innovation, the pace of science, right? Of understanding the world around us, like, moves at such a fast and rapid pace sometimes that we don't really notice it until you go back and figure out where you were versus where you are.
Right. That is so... Wow, that's I love that. Can you repeat that?
I just came up with it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That seems like that should be your catchphrase, right? Like,
man, I'm glad we're recording this so I can remember it.
Exactly. We have to go back, right?
Like,
just that's got to be a clip. Exactly.
Yeah,
we need that. We need that.
Yeah,
promote that.
But that's it's just some. I think we're always on the move, and I'm
Right.
an always on the move person, right?
Right,
Like,
right,
and I talk to
absolutely.
my therapist, said like, we know that you're biased towards action, right? Like you are a person.
What was your first clue?
Yes, right. It's like you are scared of inaction. You do not. It's like, yeah, I guess you kind of got a point, maybe.
Wow. I guess you do know me. I guess you do.
Right. And so, but you spend so much time always moving forward that
Right.
you don't look behind you,
Right.
And you don't figure out like what you left behind and how things looked then versus now. And that's important because then you can kind of get a gauge on what things might look like in the future, or maybe
Right.
what the pace of future advances might look like,
Absolutely.
or where the world is going, so on and so forth, all of
Right.
that kind of good stuff.
Right.
And sometimes it's all wrong, right?
Absolutely.
But sometimes it's not.
Sometimes it's not. And looking back, we can also learn from that, right?
Yeah.
And whether good, bad, or ugly, right? Sometimes it's really good, like, oh my gosh, that's awesome that I didn't even know that would lead to X, Y, and Z, right?
Right.
And so, gosh, am I grateful that I called the ball and moved in that direction? And
Yes.
but I worry sometimes with the generations that have followed us that they look back with regret versus look back to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's like everything that I missed, and and I think everyone's kind of guilty of that a little bit, right?
A little bit.
You think about, man, Amazon was going public. I knew Amazon was going public. Why don't I own like 20% of Amazon stock? And it's like it's those things like that where you just kind of like, no, this is going to be a success, and I should be in on it.
Right.
And you look back and you're like, oh, I missed that. How did I miss it?
Exactly.
Right?
But it was also, at least when I look back specifically to Amazon, I think, okay, well, I remember the interview that Bezos gave about, my buddies say that it shouldn't be Amazon.com. It should be Amazon.org because we're a nonprofit.
Oh.
So, right? They were not making any money, right?
Yes, for like a good decade at
exactly.
least.
And you think, oh, yeah, that's when we should have bought.
Yeah, that's when we should have bought it. And that's also why we didn't.
Exactly, right? So, okay, I'm glad that we're doing this. This is a good session for us.
Yeah, no, absolutely, right? So, those things. You never know in the moment like what you should be doing.
Exactly.
You can only just kind of hope and pray and just try to like use your moral compass to put yourself in the right direction and do the things that you feel you need to be doing.
That's great. And so let's dig a little deeper, right?
Sure.
So you, as you said, you've been a tech person, right? And that's where you get juice, right? And in addition to all the other things we've talked about. But so tell me about like how did ServiceNow kind of enter into the journey, right?
Yeah, so that's interesting. Like most things with me, accidental.
Okay, totally fair, right?
So I started off in IT. I've been a tech guy like all my life, right? Like love computer, like I said, TRS 80, first computer. Apple IIe at school. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Right? Like all those
love
things,
that.
right?
Absolutely.
Oregon Trail,
right?
like dysentery. Like we all got the stories, right?
It's so good,
and
so good.
Yeah, and so I just kind of I kept with it, right?
Right,
like I stayed interested in it. I got a little deeper in it because I wanted to gain. This is so funny, like
so funny.
Yeah, like folks now like to game is easy, right? Like it's just everything works,
and it's just there for you.
It's just there,
right?
Yeah. Computers did not just work in the 80s and 90s. Trust me, right? Like you'd go and you'd be like, "Lo, I'm gonna play Civilization now." Civilization, still one of the best game franchises ever, right? But at that time, like amazing, right? Like Tier 1, you want to play this thing, right?
Right.
But games on Windows and DOS, right? Like they didn't just natively run. You had to finagle with them, right? And so you want to play the game, you got to learn how to the magic codes, right? Like
And was it keystroke driven back in those days,
very much batch file, text file, kind of like
seriously?
Yeah. So you had to learn like the arcane kind of incantations.
Oh my gosh!
In order to free up enough memory, right? Like
is that the official term?
Pretty much. Like I had like just a series of 3.25. 3.5 inch floppy disk, right?
Oh my gosh! Seriously?
Okay, this is my boot disk for Civilization. I boot it in, and it automatically allocate memory around to give me enough so I can play the game. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so you create those things, and learning how to create those things, you learn how the operating system works.
Right.
And those sorts of things. And then so now I'm the guy when it comes to computers. Everybody knows that I grew up in the hood, right? So there's only like one computer guy in the hood at the time. It's me. And so like anybody.
Let's bring him in. We got to go to the bullpen.
Exactly. So anybody's like any kind of computer thing going on, they call me in, right?
That's awesome.
And so just more and more experience. And eventually a friend of a family friend, right, was like, hey, I know a guy.
Of course. This is Chicago. I got a guy.
I got a guy, yep. He's like, I think you're good. We're going to want to get you intro and get you into like doing computer consulting. This is 96. I'm 18.
Oh my gosh, seriously.
I had no idea that the computer consultants.
What is that? What is that, right?
Is that an industry? That's a thing?
Right.
I didn't know that was a job, right? Like,
I'm just doing what I like doing.
I was just doing what it was like doing. And I know that I was bored with school. And
interesting.
So I was like, okay, so what's next?
So interesting.
And then he was like, yeah, so this is next. This could be your next.
This could be your next.
Yeah. And so he introduced me to him. I started working in the field.
Now, what were your folks saying at this point? Were they like, whoa, I don't know, or like, go?
They were.
Do you remember?
They always thought I would figure it out, right? Like
so great.
I grew up as like the smart kid,
right? Right.
So they always figured I'd just figure it out.
I don't have to worry about you.
Yes,
that's what they're thinking.
Yes, that's what they're thinking. I did not figure it out for a while, but they always had faith that I would.
Note to self, right? Keep going. Don't give up, right?
Yeah, right. Like I had no idea, but they were very confident that I'd be fine.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, and ultimately I was.
And
I guess they were right.
There you go. Right.
Oh my God! Like it was a trek getting there.
Yeah. So talk about that.
Yeah. So now I'm in the computer industry, right? Like I started off like most people started off, like I'm crawling under desks swapping out hardware.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Like I'm doing nothing fancy. Right. It's just like this thing is a lease return. Right. Like we're gonna do. I'm under here. I'm in the dust. And whatever else people have under their desks.
Right. Oh my
like
gosh.
96,
Right. That haven't touched it in years.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And there's no.
Oh, are there cords down there? I never knew.
Yeah.
Right?
And there's no like hand sanitizer either in like 96. So you're just under there and things are disgusting. And it's a whole mess.
Exactly.
Right?
we can all imagine. Okay, now go.
Yes. And so, that's where I started, right? Swapping that stuff out.
Right.
And, on to the next contract, and I'm doing something else. Eventually, I go and I'm working for the family friend who introduced me to his friend, and I'm doing desktop support at First Chicago.
Okay.
Right.
Awesome.
So that's like way, way old school, right?
Right.
And this is pre-merger.
Right.
Pre-Bank
Oh my gosh.
One, pre-JP Morgan Chase.
And are these dumb terminals with the big mainframe?
No, these are Windows.
These are Windows.
Yeah. So it's Windows 3.1.
Oh my gosh.
They were doing the migration to Windows 3.1 to Windows 95, and needed some help for that. And so they brought me in to do that. And then when that project rolled, they transitioned me to be doing desktop support.
Wow.
And
within First Chicago?
And within First Chicago, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm working at 3 First National Plaza. Right. I don't know what its name now.
I don't know, whatever it is. But exactly. But what a great... Yeah. I mean, talk about center of the city.
Center, exactly.
Right? Like, it must have felt like center of the universe back in those days,
it was fun. It was definitely fun, right? Like, I'm not 21 yet.
Right.
I'm going...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, like, I'm going down... I got, like, a real job,
right?
Like, you're making real money.
Oh, my gosh,
and like, got vacation days. Like, this is nuts. I'm, like, 19. Exactly. I got, like, vacation days.
Who has that, right?
Like this is like my first job. My only real job prior to that was like working at Popeyes. So and so now I go from Popeyes to First Chicago.
Exactly. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's everybody's trajectory, right? Yeah.
So and I'll spare like some of the boring details in here, but I just kind of like started there and I just kept going.
Right.
So now I go from like swapping out hardware to doing desktop support to being like one of the best guys there, to eventually leaving that organization because my new boss was a butt, and then called himself the Terminator. I just want to give that context. Like he called himself the Terminator. So that's that's how.
Just note to self: don't give yourself a nickname, right? Just a little PSA here. Don't give yourself, and definitely not the Terminator. Right. All right, back to live action.
Yeah. So so I left there because I don't do that.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Right. Went somewhere else, and then that was a great place. Stayed there for 15 years.
Wow.
And that's kind of like the road to ServiceNow. So I started off there just doing more IT stuff, like desktop support, service support, data center support, office migrations, building data centers, whatever it is IT. Look, this is what I loved about that place. Is when I started, they're just like, hey, whatever you can do, we're going to allow you to do it. So I was doing everything, building
How
routers.
Often does that happen?
Yeah,
right?
It doesn't.
You just had the free landscape to just get stuff done, right?
And if I had an interest in it, I would just go, right? Like, hey, you guys need help? Yeah, boom, let's go, right? And so I'm just learning everything and doing everything. And eventually I get to the point where I'm running our ticketing system, which was my boss's at the time, it was like his pet little project.
Really?
Right? He's very much into like
proprietary. Did you guys create it?
No, it was from BMC. It was called Magic Service Desk.
Okay.
And they sunsetted not long after I took it over, but I ran it for like 2 years. And he's very much into ITSM, it's IT Service Management Framework.
Gotcha.
Basically, how do you open a ticket? How do you communicate with it? Life cycle, all that kind of good stuff. Really,
and tracking it. All the analytics before there were analytics,
whole
right?
process-driven kind of methodology, right? And so I'm like,
did you just eat that up?
I did, mainly
did it
because
take a time?
Well, so like as an IT guy, right? I hate tickets, right? Like we just want to
let me do my stuff.
Yes.
Exactly.
I just wanted to fix the problem. Like, I just want to do the thing, right? So I hate tickets, but like he got me into his mindset, and it got me ITSM certified. And I was like, okay. There was a bridge here that I was missing between the tech and the business, right? And being able to communicate the value of the tech to the business.
Right.
That ITIL and ITSM together kind of gave me that ability.
Wow.
Right. So
just connecting those dots, right? Just bring them together.
Yep. So I went from like a great tech to also like a great communicator.
And let's be honest, not every great tech
is very rare that you have great techs who are also great communicators.
Quite the skill, right?
It has paid off.
Yeah.
Like in spades. Trust me. Like just like I am still a unicorn in that way. And
isn't that, I mean, it's amazing. I'm not surprised that you are, but I'm kind of surprised that you're still considered a unicorn. That hasn't.
If you'd have known me in like 1990 something, or early 2000s, you'd be surprised that I am also known as a great communicator. I was very much the tech archetype, right? Like just kind of like the quiet guy who enjoy fixing the problems.
Gaming in the basement.
Gaming, yeah, the whole night. Not in the basement. I have my own place.
Okay, good. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But still, right?
But gaming.
100-inch projector. 7 video consoles connected to it, right? Like I got like every Nintendo, like PlayStation, you name it, right? So,
awesome.
Yeah, so that's me.
Awesome, right?
But like again, right? Like so, I learned this, and I realized, okay, this is the value.
So you had to work on that skill.
I did have to work on it, yeah. But it's the intersection, right? Like kind of bringing it back around,
right?
It's the intersection of technology and communication, right? That actually unlocked a lot of the value, right? For me in technology as a career,
right? Because
now not only am I a great a great technologist,
right?
I'm a great problem solver. I'm also a great communicator, and I can speak to the business in terms that they understand.
Exactly.
Take that back to the tech team,
right?
And communicate
speak
with
that
them.
language too.
Yes.
So you're fluent in all the languages.
Absolutely. And because now I share common vocabulary over several different groups that don't share common vocabularies.
Right. No, they're like this.
Yes.
You create that.
Exactly.
Bingo.
Wow. That's the value. Yeah. And so that intersection is kind of like what kind of got me here. And, and it's where it's the reason it allowed me to be kind of like an independent consultant now in the ServiceNow ecosystem. Because when you're a consultant, the first thing you got to do is be able to communicate to your client. Hey, what's your problem?
Right.
Right. And talk to them in a way that they understand. Right. And then take that.
Because you know business processes. You just don't know tech.
Exactly.
So you can help them as they're trying to dissect what the problem is.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because they often are at a loss on how to communicate it to someone who's in the tech.
Completely.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, no, I'll take that. No, I'll massage that.
Right.
And then now I can distribute that to everybody, and everyone knows what we're doing. And then now we can get success. Right. And success is, once you get success, I mean, that's the value unlock. That's the thing that we're all looking for. Right.
And talk about value add.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. And then in tech, there's too many people are very kind of have a fixed mindset around. Like what we're trying to deliver is like, are we doing it? I need to go in here and I need to solve your problem with code. Sometimes it's not code. Sometimes it's communication. Sometimes it's a people problem. Sometimes my job is to tell you, that roadblock.
I think a lot of times.
Yeah, well, yeah. That roadblock is that one person in a position that shouldn't be there. Right.
Exactly. Have you ever thought you might be the bottleneck? Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Right. I mean, not you, but as you're talking to your client, right?
No, I mean, so imagine telling it to the person who's writing a check.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, no, you're actually in the way. Right, that takes a little.
I got to share something with you. Right?
yes. Right, that takes a bit of a
little nuanced communicator. Right,
absolutely.
Right,
absolutely.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and then fast forward, and turns out that is also a skill that's really native to a politician. Who knew?
Who knew? All right, so before we dive down that path, let's just for our audience talk about ServiceNow. So what is ServiceNow? I don't think a lot of people know. It's one
Nobody
of those things.
knows.
If you know, you know,
Yes.
but a lot of people don't know.
It
right?
is funny. I have had this thing in my entire career of working places where nobody knows like who these people are, right? Like,
yep. I've same, right?
So you know what?
We should start a club or something,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Although we would never know, right? No one would know.
Like who, where? Like,
exactly.
I work for a company called Spencer Stewart. It's executive service.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know who
I
they
do,
are,
right?
Like most people don't.
They think it's a person. Right?
Yeah, they think it's a person. Absolutely.
You work for Spencer?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so we kind of like memed it, right? Like, so internally it was like, yeah, Uncle Spence is picking up the check, right? So
love it.
But so I worked there for 15 years and nobody knew who we were. And we did, I think sometimes I feel like we worked pretty hard to make it that way, right? Because the people who needed to know who we are knew who we were. And
sometimes that's all you want,
and
right?
Yes.
And flying under the radar is not a bad thing in those circumstances.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And so then I got in the ServiceNow ecosystem, and I'm an independent consultant in the ServiceNow community. And
who knows about that?
Nobody knows what ServiceNow is. Right. So I always say, do you know what Salesforce is?
There you go. People will be like, sure, I know what Salesforce is.
ServiceNow is Salesforce for IT.
There you go.
And that's kind of where I leave it. Now, it's way, way more than that. But that is as close as I can get for folks who don't get it, to get them to get it.
Does the light bulb click on, or do you still have to go a couple steps after that?
I think it's typically as close as I can get for them. Like, they're like, oh,
as close as you want to get, right?
Yes. Because otherwise, then it's like, okay, so, you know, when you call Comcast, you get a support ticket. Right. Like that goes into ServiceNow. I work on a system that manages that process.
Is that helpful? Do you understand that? Right.
So sometimes if you don't get a call back, sometimes it's a failure of that system to alert somebody that their call is overdue.
Right.
Or that ticket never got logged, and so therefore there's no history of you having called in. Right. All those things. Right. Like, so all of those kind of dovetail pretty nicely into ServiceNow. And so much more. Like the platform. I always tell people it's not about what the platform can do, because it can do everything. Right. It's about, should you do it on the platform?
That's so interesting, right? Yeah. And so talk about that. How do you balance that, right? Because sometimes you got folks that are just I gotta pound it. I eat what I kill, so I got to get them on ServiceNow, or else I don't get that, right?
Yeah, it's experience, right? So
because that's very transactional, right? And you're not transactional. And everything I know about you, you are so far removed from transactional, right?
Yes.
You're relational. You're transformational. That's who you are. That's what you want to do. So
I appreciate that.
Absolutely, but it's true. Yeah.
No, I mean, but it's absolutely true. It's how I run my business, right? It's all about forming those relationships, really trying to get, that connection with folks and trying to help them through their problems and find where what the value is that they're looking for, and help create it. Right. And I hate using like the generic term value, but really it is kind of a generic, because I don't know what it is they're actually trying to do. Right. Until I talk to them. And they don't often know what they're trying to do. They're like, I got this ServiceNow thing and I want to do this thing, I want to make this process. And then I dig and then we talk, and then
you ask some questions. You're curious. You want to learn, right? And eventually you got to connect the dots for somebody, right?
Yes. And sometimes you end up in a place well different than where you thought you were going to end up when you started.
That's so interesting. And the clients have got to be like, wait, how did we get here? Wait, I thought we were talking about this, and you're over here.
So, the funny thing is that they don't do that. They are like, they're just like, finally, somebody's listening.
Fascinating.
It's like, finally we can talk to someone and they're hearing us, and they're able to actually create the thing for us that we're trying to communicate that we need, but lack the vocabulary to do so.
Right.
So it's more like a thank you than how did we get here. It's more like
they're just so happy that you've been able to get that done.
Yes,
right?
Because they feel like, I've been saying this to so many people.
Right.
And nobody is...
I've been saying the same thing.
Yes.
And nobody's listening.
And
nobody understands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I do, right? And then we get to where we do.
Right.
So, I mean, I found myself recently, a lot of my clients, I'm not even doing like what I would typically call like tech work.
Yeah.
What I would have called tech work previously, right? Now it's a lot more conversations and
business consulting,
right? Yeah, let's figure out like where your problem is, where's the hiccup, right? Let's figure out how we can use this platform to drive your business, because that's why you're buying it.
Totally.
Right? Like, you have ServiceNow so that you can use it to drive your business, to either make money, save money, or drive efficiency. Right. Like, so it's those three different things, right? And so when I tell them like, hey, what do you need this platform to do? right? Like what's the outcome on the business and what dial are we turning there?
Right.
And let's work back. You don't worry about like what the platform's doing.
Exactly.
I'll take care of that.
Right.
Let's tell me like what we're trying to do. Are we trying to like make this one department like more profitable, or are we trying to, are you seeing an influx in demand over here that you can't cope with?
Exactly. So we need to be more efficient over here to be able to reach that over there.
Exactly.
Help me figure that out.
Exactly. Or like we're just seeing like the defect level over here is just way high.
Right.
And we need to get some level of automation over here around it because we're going to start losing customers, right? Like those sorts of things, right? So you just kind of like peel those onions, those layers of the onion back till you finally figure out, okay, this is the thing that's driving them. Now I'll bring the tech in and use the tech to fix the actual problem.
So good.
Yeah.
All right. So do you see, given that great visual of how you're connecting all that, right? Do you see AI as a help or a hindrance?
Ooh, man.
A competitor or the problem solver that we all need? That you need, not the rest of us, right? Like in your business, right? I can see people defaulting like, oh no, we got AI now. I got a bot for that.
Yeah, no. Like the bot So like I am very AI what's the word? I'm an AI champion, right? I think it's great technology.
Right. It's the next step for you guys, for us, right? And especially in the tech world, right?
Yeah.
So
and it's extremely helpful.
Right.
Right. But it can't do the things that I can do. Right. But it can help me do those things quicker
and better, probably, and efficiently, and all of that.
Because I can offload a lot of tasks that I don't want to do anyway. To the AI.
You didn't like doing before.
Yeah. Right.
Truth be told.
Yeah. True. Right. Like so, this conversation, right? Imagine that you're my client. We have the conversation, and we're in a meeting, and I'm recording it. Right.
Right.
The AI is now going to give me a transcript. It's going to highlight action items. It's going to produce a nice little report. I can send that to you after the call. Right now.
Feel so much better about that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't want to do that.
No, gosh, no. Well,
I didn't want to go back and listen to that and then make sure all of my notes are right.
Right.
And putting all the due dates right. So typically you have a project manager for that.
Right.
And they're sitting on the call and they're doing all this stuff.
Exactly. Pretty amazing,
yeah,
right?
But now I got AI.
Because if I would have done that after that call, I don't know, 3 weeks later I would have gotten that to you. Right?
Exactly.
We already missed 2 deadlines. Right?
Yes. Because it's just all those extra.
I gotta do it.
Yep.
But
Yeah, all those little extra little details that.
So it's really an enhancement for you.
It is very much an enhancement for me, and I think it's for folks who are already kind of like good at what they're doing. I think it's an enhancement for them. I actually think it's
a boost. Right?
Yeah, it's a better value add if you're like at a top level in your craft than it is if you're just trying to come in.
That's really
I think it's an amazing teacher. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it's going to still take you a while to get to the point where you understand what the AI is doing.
Right.
To use it more as effectively as you can. Since
So
I already
important.
understand the problem domain.
Absolutely.
Right. Like, so I understand what the AI is.
You can leverage it so much better, right? Yeah. Versus, I would think kind of at a lower level, they're looking for answers, right?
Yes.
And not always the best problem solver, right? Because it's going to spit back kind of what you've told it.
Yeah.
In some ways.
In some ways, right? Or what some other people have told it, right?
Right.
Like it's going to do this little pattern matching thing that really feels really good. I mean, honestly, like the way the technology works versus like the output that you get.
Right.
Like to me, it's completely different. Like you can know that this is like a pattern matching kind of, sort of thing. And it's going through like this vector database and all this other kind of blah, 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 right? But it's magic that comes out of the box.
Right. Like, no way would I have been able to get there. Certainly not like that.
And I'm at the point now where it is really fundamentally hard for me to go back to a place where I didn't have AI. Like, that's how useful it is for me.
Well, it makes sense, right? Nobody went back to the slide rule.
True.
Right?
True. But it's only been so...
It's a pretty quick jump.
2 years,
right?
maybe?
Right.
Like,
if that, right?
Yeah.
If that. I mean, maybe you were probably aware of it 2 years ago. I don't know that the mainstream was really aware of the impact, right, or the opportunity back then, right?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then there's so many people who are like, oh, it can make this nice image. And that's great.
Right.
I use it for that sometimes too, right? Like it's
because that's kind of fun.
Yeah,
right?
Sometimes you need like a stock image in a report or whatever, right? Like the AI do that for you. It's awesome.
Write a song for your bride, for instance, right?
Yeah. But you know what it's also great at is doing the things that you would typically ask somebody else to do and have to wait on them to do. Like if I'm writing
I gave that to you when? Right?
Yeah.
When are you going to get it back to me?
Right. Exactly. And then you got to hope they did it well. right? Like if I wrote a 10-page report and I want an editor on it, right? Like that's just gonna, like I got to send that to somebody that's gonna
so
take
long,
yeah.
right? Exactly.
I give it to Chat GPT, I get markups like immediately.
Right, right. So the thing that I've learned recently is continue to ask ChatGPT or Copilot or whatever your fancy is, what's another prompt? What's a better prompt?
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I never for the longest time, right, for months, right. It's like I just kind of took my first prompt, like okay, I think now I'll work on it.
Yeah.
No. Let them refine it, right?
Yes. Yes. And on top of that, right, like I typically cross-check
nice
AI. So I use Gemini and then I also use ChatGPT.
Ooh.
And when it's something that it needs to absolutely be correct,
yeah.
If I ask ChatGPT,
that too,
ChatGPT
right?
from you, right? If I ask them for it, like I'll take that output, then I'll give it to Gemini. Say, hey, validate this. Right, and then it'll come back with its lens on it, right?
So good,
and then and so I use that to reconcile.
Right. Well done.
And then always ask for sources, right? Because the bots will hallucinate.
When they start sourcing your stuff that you just told them, right? Ooh. That's problematic.
That hasn't happened yet, but that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. That's
just a matter of time.
That'd be ego stroke right there.
Feeling pretty good about myself.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like you just sourced me to me? Yeah.
Mic drop. We're done. Right?
That's it. Right. I made it.
Exactly. It's been a good day.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So awesome. So all right.
I don't know if I ever answered the question or not, but
no, I mean, I think ultimately it's a partner in this,
yes.
right? It's a partner in your work. You don't see it. What I was worried about is that clients will now start leveraging AI, maybe not against or in place of, but in areas that might have been your domain before.
Yeah, the problem is, right, they got to have the expertise to do so.
Correct.
Right? Like, so I'm not going to say it won't hurt some folks, right? Folks who are playing at like a 0 to 50 in that kind of range, right? I'm playing 90 to 100, right?
Yeah.
So, like, there just aren't a whole lot of people who can do what I do in this particular domain.
Right. So you've already separated. So you've created that distance already. So not a concern, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. Like, when they call it, if they're calling me, it's because
it's serious.
Yeah,
right.
They couldn't do whatever.
They couldn't do whatever.
Yeah.
They've already tried that, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Even if they didn't, even if they did, it wouldn't give them the results, right?
Right.
We're at that point where, like, you're calling
nice.
18.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
Bringing you in.
I know. Yes. I mean,
hey,
sounds a little cocky, but it's true. But it's true.
Right. Exactly. You're a closer for a closer. Right. There we go.
Exactly.
Right. Somebody's got to finish it. Right.
Yeah. I always tell people I'm your favorite partner's favorite tech.
Right. I like it. Right. We all need that. Right.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
all need that.
I'm the guy that when it's in, like, you name it, 4-letter acronym, like, Big Four, whoever, whatever many billions of dollars they have, and you've contracted them to do a thing for you in ServiceNow. When they're in the muck, I'm the guy they call.
Right, exactly, because you're going to clean it up.
I'm going to clean it up
and get those dots connected.
Absolutely.
For that person, for that company, for that end use.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank
absolutely. You. So that's your full-time job, right?
Yeah.
And then you have, and then you have what, 3 other full-time jobs?
Yeah. I mean, if you separate it out, right?
So there's the one. That's the business side,
that's
right?
The business. Yeah.
What else
that's
we got?
What pays the bills.
What other bubbles? What other circles are we working with?
Right. So then, we have all my nonprofit stuff, right?
Exactly.
So I'm on the board of Oak Leyden.
Blessed to have you on our team. So
happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. So again, we can thank Dino, right, for bringing you on board, right, and then he moved to Iowa, and so we're done with him, and now we get the residual, we get you, right,
which is
you're kicking it up for us, right? So and you were nice and articulated at the beginning of our conversation, but just kind of revisit that. What is it that feeds you, right? Where's that impact for you?
Yeah, for me, it's about being able to help. Really, I mean, to those who much is given, much is expected.
Amen.
Right, and so that's just the way I look at it. I know, like, growing up, I grew up in the hood, right, and in the hood, there's, in the 80s and 90s, there's just a wide range of folks, right? You have folks who have hardly anything, and you have folks who have a lot more, right?
Right.
And I always felt like if I get to the point where I can help folks, I should.
Yeah.
Right, because not everyone has.
Right.
And I've seen it, but then I've also seen everyone come together, and help others too, right? And it's like
that's powerful,
right? And so if I got to pick one or the other,
I'm choosing that.
I'm choosing to help people and not ignore people.
That's great.
And so that's really why I do it. And,
love it.
And and so when I think about who do I want to help, right? I want to help those where I can make a big impact, right? I want to help those who otherwise wouldn't have the help. Right. Because like there's a lot of folks and they're not ignored, right? There are large segments of the population where, money flows there and help flows there.
Right.
And it's just a little easier. Oak Leyden doesn't exist in those places.
Right.
Oak Leyden is a place where we're scraping and we're fighting and we're clawing for every dime we can get, right, to help those that we are tasked with helping. We're fighting to get the attention. We're fighting to get folks to step in, to step up. And, if I've got the time and I've got the bandwidth and I got a particular set of skills, right, like, should I use it in a place where everyone is already there and everyone's already using it? Or should I use it in a place where comparatively there are many fewer people and the need is so much greater? So, and that's why I'm here to do it, because when I think about who can benefit and who can advocate, and again, like we serve a user base that it's very difficult for them to self-advocate.
Correct. Right.
And you don't get unless you can.
Right.
So if they can't, then who's going to do it? Right. They need someone to advocate.
And if not you, if not us, then who?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So great.
And
grateful for you.
And everyone, right? Like everyone deserves to be able to live their best life.
Amen.
And so that's why I do it here. This is what if I can help move that needle even just a little bit.
Right.
Even I don't know how impactful I am, right? But
you are.
If I can just be just even a little impactful, right? Like it's more than it was.
Right.
And it's worth it to me.
Right. And it makes a difference, right? To your point, it's not about scale, right? For us, it's about depth, right?
Yes.
It's right. We're not broad. We're deep, right? In what we do, right? And so every little needle movement just really creates more depth, more engagement, right? And just allows our folks to, as you said, to live their best lives.
To live their best lives.
So appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
Right?
And, so good. So good. Right.
And then so I'm on a couple other boards, like CIACO, Southeast Oak Park Community Organization. I'm the co-president there.
So good.
And so we're basically a community organization based around the Irving School District. And basically, we're just driven to bring people together, and create community and keep the neighborhood
vibrant, right? Totally,
yes.
Right? Yes.
Because for me, right, like community is people,
right?
And the more neighbors for you, the better, right? Like the
complete,
and getting folks together. And what I learned after the pandemic, right, is that community seemed like it just existed, right? Like that was just this ever persistent thing.
Right. Kind of amorphous, right? In that way, right?
Yeah. But then it went away.
Yeah.
Right? The pandemic took it away.
Like that. Boom.
And then we came out. But there was still no community when you came out.
No.
Right? Like it's like going outside and there's no outside.
Right. Exactly. And just waving from a distance. Yeah. Right? Like none of this.
Right?
No.
And so it's like, okay, so how do we get people back together again?
Right? You got to be intentional.
You have to be intentional. And so with CIACO, that's what we've been doing. We've just been
good.
very intentional about bringing back all the things that we were doing pre-pandemic and really trying to take them to the next level.
So great.
And so we do Berry Fest, and we've taken Berry Fest to the next level.
So great.
I tell people now it's basically like Taste of Oak Park.
Love it. Love it. Right.
And it's amazing.
Right.
We partnered with Takeout 25, and now we're doing it on our own, but we're partnering with some of the same businesses. And mainly Takeout 25 is kind of having a mission shift. So no, it's no knock there, Revy's my guy.
Right. Yeah.
But they're doing some other stuff. So, we're taking that on, and so we've got a lot of the businesses who are participating, and they're still doing it. And we're putting together this neighborhood fest, longest running neighborhood fest in Oak Park.
Seriously,
yeah.
Well done,
absolutely,
well done, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's that intersection, right? The business community coming to help the community,
absolutely,
right?
So
getting
great. Everyone out, kids, adults, you name it, like just so many people there.
Right.
and we have this great community fair where you can learn about all of the various nonprofits and
so great
in the neighborhood,
right.
and everything. It's just amazing, right? Get so many people together again, and you walk away and you're like, I saw 20 people that I forgot I knew.
Right.
I met 15 new friends. My kids now have 4 new friends. They saw 3 people from school.
Right.
And one of them climbed all the way to the top of the rock climbing wall and rang the bell.
It's a good day. That's a good day.
It's a good day. And then you got a snowball and a hot dog on top of it.
What else do you need?
Right? What else do you need? Exactly.
Truly, what else do you need? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, that's kind of like the thing that I do there and a lot of the drive for that. And I used to be on a few more actual nonprofits than that. But, yeah, so the bigger thing that I do, like, so, circle number 3.
Right, exactly. Right, exactly.
Yeah, and so that I serve on the village board. And so that kind of wiped out a little bit of time for some of the other things that I used to do.
Right.
That, now I do this, and it just takes a lot more time than I thought it would.
Yes, those are, that's an intense commitment,
yes.
right? Time-wise, I think just bandwidth is important, right? Like you got a lot that you need to digest. So, you know, is it what you expected? Is it more or less? Like, I'm curious.
Depends on the day. It is. There are
day and time, right?
Yes, right. Like, and tomorrow is a day. So. Oof. Yeah, but so it is often what I expected it to be.
Okay.
Right, like we're making policy.
Yep.
And policy just means we're solving problems through words mostly, and money and whatever, right? Like, but I mean, from the village board perspective, right? Like, what we do is we give direction, and direction just means we
structure, right?
Yep. Tell somebody else what to do and give them a budget so they can do it.
Right?
Go
do it. Right.
This is a beautiful job in that, and from that perspective, right? It's like you do that. Yeah,
right?
Yeah. You talk for a long time, and then you like, hey, and then you do that, and here's how much we think it should cost.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah, and then,
hey, at least you're giving them something to do it with, right?
Exactly. But so then that part of it's fine. But then there's also all the things that you just don't know that are going to happen.
Right.
That have happened. Right. So when I think about it, right. So COVID is one of those things.
Yep.
I joined the board just as the board came out of remote work.
Right.
So they were all doing remote meetings. And when I got sworn in, because I was appointed to
filled the role. A term. You filled the term,
so,
right?
Ironically, the person who beat me in 2019, she resigned, and I was appointed to finish out her term.
That's hilarious. I don't think I ever connected those.
Man, life is funny.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And so I joined the
board. Can't plan this stuff.
No,
right?
you can't. You can't. It's just like, okay, that's how this is going to work. So,
exactly.
Yeah, October 2022, I got appointed to fill her role. She resigned sometime over the summer.
Yeah.
And finished out her term, which ended in April of 2023.
Right.
So then I ran in that election.
Right.
And won. And
crushed it, by the way.
Thank you. And, it was redemption.
Right. It's a redemption tour, right?
Well, you lose by 50 votes. And so
you think, seriously, 50 votes?
Like, I can find 50 votes in the couch cushions, right? Like, what I mean? Chicago,
baby, right?
Like, you don't have 50 votes on you at all times. Most people do.
I got like 35 on me right now.
Yeah,
and I'm not, and there's no election going on.
Exactly. Right? Like, that's how we roll in Chicago. We always keep a few hundred votes on us just in case.
You never know where.
And so, but I learned a lot of things from that loss. Right?
I'm sure.
And so when I ran again, I was like, okay, I'm not going to do those. I'm going to, take the learnings from those things and make sure that I do those things better. And I did.
Clearly, right?
And in the intervening time too, like I joined the board at Oak Park Economic Development Corporation,
Yep.
And shout out to John Lynch. I credit him with teaching me so much about what I know about municipal systems and
because that for the parlance, that ain't easy, right?
No, it is not easy, right? There are you sit down at a table, like imagine sitting down at like a any kind of construction vehicle, right?
Right.
Or even the mixer that we have here. Like there's all these different buttons. Like you press a button, like something happens somewhere way down there.
Right. Those unintended consequences.
Yes.
Those are brutal.
Yes.
Those are brutal, right?
They are super brutal. And so sometimes you think you're solving a problem that you're not actually impacting at all.
Uh-huh.
Or you're creating
this
another
is easy.
problem. Yeah.
All we got to do is this.
Yeah.
Just move that button a little bit to the right.
Move it a little bit to the right, right? And it doesn't do anything, right? But I learned what actually does do the things, right?
Nice.
And I wouldn't have known that had I not actually served those few years that I did, 4 years or so at the Oak Park Economic Development Corporation. And more specifically, had I not served with our executive director, who was John Lynch.
Right,
and
right.
He's just, one, he's an amazing teacher. And, he is... He knows this stuff just intrinsically.
Right.
And he has a gifted way of explaining it. And so being able to see, like, you do X to get Y instead of doing B to get Y helps me so much when I sat at the board table. Because then it was like, well, actually, we shouldn't do this.
Right.
Because it's not going to do the thing that we want to see happen. We need to do that.
Right.
Because that, even though it's,
it seems counterintuitive.
Counterintuitive, right?
But those levers move in unison, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like if you
so interesting.
Yeah. Like if you want to create a more economically sustainable community, you need more people. Right? That seems kind of logical.
Right.
But also seems counterintuitive because you're like, well, more people cost more money, right?
Exactly.
Well,
how are we more efficient with more people?
Right. Well, because more people add to the local economy.
Right.
And the local economy creates sales tax revenue. Right. And the sales tax revenue offsets property tax revenue. Right. And now.
Wait, I see this. I see this, right?
And so now what we've taken is an optional spend and used it to counter a mandatory spend. Right, because if you don't pay your property tax, we're going to come take your house.
Right.
But if you don't pay your sales tax, that just means you shopped somewhere else.
Right. Got to shop here.
You know what I mean? And that's okay, right? Like, but so it's like instead of me asking you for $10,000 over here, if I can make $100,000 over here, maybe I'll ask you for $9,000.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
You feel better. I feel better.
Everybody feels better. Right. Now the village as a whole is more affordable. Right. And that is, and so when you're in a situation where you're dealing with one of 6 governments and our ask is so much smaller than, say, the schools. The schools combine for somewhere north of 60-some% of our property tax levy, right?
There you go.
We're about 15%, right? And so it's like we can cut it all, cut off 15%. You wouldn't notice. I did the math. It's like, I don't know, $100 a month for a family of 4 in an average house, right? Like it's a nice dinner. It's one nice dinner a month.
One nice dinner, exactly.
And which I'm not gonna say that's good. Like if you can give me an extra nice dinner, great.
Absolutely. Happy for that.
But what else do you lose? You lose police, you lose fire. You use
all that
streets
infrastructure,
and sand. You alleys, our great arboretum, right? Our natural arboretum and our forestry. You lose all of these different things to get one nice dinner a month.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's think about that, right?
So,
and it's all that stuff, right? It's like, how do you know that if you're watching a game, right? Umpire, referee, that they did a nice job. Like an umpire, referee, when they did a nice job, we didn't really notice them. Right. And that's when things are going well.
Absolutely.
Right. And much the same like in municipality, right? When garbage is picked up, law enforcement's there, fire, right? All of those support services, all that infrastructure.
Take for granted.
Totally take for granted. But when it's not there, oh my gosh.
Yes.
It impacts all of us.
It impacts everyone, and you absolutely notice, right? And
completely.
So I learned how all of those things work together, right? And so it's allowed me to advocate to move things in the right direction. Now I say advocate,
right, exactly,
because I serve on the board with 6 other people. Right, there's a village president and 6 trustees, of which I'm one trustee. Nothing gets done unless you get 4 votes, right? So you can have your vote and 3 more if you want to get something done.
Right.
So it's all advocacy, right? It's convincing 3 other people that the thing that you care about, the thing that you believe, is the thing that they should care about and that they should believe. Right. And that part is difficult, but that part is also consulting.
Right. Absolutely. Right. And finding that common ground. Right.
Absolutely.
So because you've got 6 trustees, 5 trustees and yourself, right, and then the village president.
Right.
Shout out to Vicky Skaman, by the way. Love Vicky Skaman. Very supportive of us here at Oak Leyden.
Shout out Vicky.
Exactly. But getting to know those folks around the table, so you know that, if we need to talk about this, I got to talk to this person, right? And so how do you kind of build that database?
Oh, by paying attention.
Wait, what?
Yeah, by paying attention. It's funny, right? So when I was at the board of OPEDC, there's two village board members. That's the president and 1 trustee.
Okay.
Trustee Buchanan was the liaison during the time that I served at OPEDC. So she was there. Now, if you know anything about Susan, you know that the environment is like her top priority.
Yep.
Right. Like Susan's got like one. She's got priorities like 0, 1, 2, 3. The environment is like -10. That's how like far above like all her other priorities it is. Right. And so so I know this. Right, I know this at the board table of the OPEDC, right? So if there's a project or something coming through, right, like you want to present it, talk to the developer to present that in a way to maximize your environmental, impact there.
Right.
The positive environmental
Exactly.
impact, minimize the negative, right?
Exactly.
Right, like so you want to do that, but then also knowing that when I get to the village board table, right, like I already understand like what drives Susan, right? So when we're talking about like a compromise on something, I know how I can help compromise. It's like, hey, that thing that's coming up.
You're already bringing that to the table.
Right. And like how we can, this is how the thing that I'm advocating for actually impacts the thing that you care about. And so maybe you should vote with me.
How about that?
Right.
Imagine that.
Yeah. And so it's like those sorts of things. And then sometimes the education is the thing that you really it's probably the most important piece. Because municipal systems, they're difficult, right?
Right,
and
totally.
So, as we just talked about, sometimes you pull in a level, it doesn't seem like you're actually impacting the ass. Affordable housing is one of those things that is really counterintuitive like that. I tell people all the time, you just need to build more housing. If you build more housing, more of it becomes affordable. Because you increase the supply.
Imagine that. So the whole supply-demand curve, that's a real thing?
Yeah, apparently economics
Econ 101.
Yeah, it just apparently it works for housing too. Who knew?
Wow, who knew?
Right? Like, and there's an argument, right, that it
Should we get the whiteboard out?
Yeah, I mean, right? and and that's the argument. Like housing is a universal basic right, all of that. Totally and completely agree.
Right.
However, that's not our reality right now.
Right.
Like from a municipal level, from an Oak Park level, I don't have like $3 billion where I can just say build all these units and give them away for free.
Right.
What I have is the ability to incentivize folks to come here and build housing.
Right.
And when I say incentivize, that ranges anything from just being desirable from a policy perspective to sometimes contributing things to a deal in order to close whatever that funding
help facilitate something.
Exactly.
Make the permitting easy, right? You want to be easy to work with.
You just want to be easy to work with, right? Because their goal is our goal.
Right.
They want to build housing. We want them to build housing. Because the more housing we get built here, like the more affordable the housing here becomes. Right. But it is as a counterintuitive thing because it's like, how do you get more affordable housing? By building more market rate housing.
Right.
Because there's a lot of old housing. And the more housing you have at the top, the more affordable the housing at the bottom to the middle becomes.
Right.
And then there are people who want to move into that market rate housing.
That's right. That's their next.
Yes, but they're stuck sometimes because
the supply's not there.
The supply's not there.
Or it's overpriced for them.
Or right. But in Oak Park is like a super. We have way more demand than we have supply.
Right. Well, it's also a finite.
4.7 square miles.
Right. That's what we got.
That's what we got. Right. And so you come here and it's like, I really want to live here. You will just take what's open, right? Even if you can afford something better because something better is not open.
Exactly.
As soon as you start providing better, people will move to that better. Which opens the door for people to move in those places that are more affordable now.
More affordable, more entry level, right?
Absolutely.
I want to get in. I want to get in. I want to get in.
Yes.
Right.
And so that's how that's how the cycle works. And so the more houses we put anywhere, the more affordable it all becomes, which then allows more people into our more economic diversity and more racial diversity into our village. Right. And that seems counterintuitive because we're only building market rate housing, but that's how the system works. Right. So
going back, it moves the needle.
It moves the needle. Right. So you just got to pay attention to the system. And operate the system in the way that is intended to work and not operate against it because you won't ever beat the system.
You'll never. Right.
Like you can destroy the system and build a new one. Right. That's your option.
Right.
You can work with the system.
It's like the house, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the house.
The house is the house, right? They're going to keep winning
because that's how they set it up.
Exactly.
So if you want the house to lose, then you got to get the house out the game.
Right. Exactly. Not an easy task.
Not an easy task, right? And look, folks, there are some folks who are committed to getting the house out the game. I'm completely fine with that.
Right.
Until we do.
Right. Until we do. here are the steps that we can take.
Here are the steps that we can take
to make
work
a difference
inside of the realities of how the law is working.
Right.
The system itself, how the system works.
Right.
These are the things we need to do in order to get the outcomes we want.
Right. How do we continue to educate folks about that?
Oh, man, this one's tricky, right? Because I talk to people about it all the time. I tell them how it works all the time. The problem is that it's sometimes an ideological difference.
Right.
It's like, no, we just need to build more affordable housing. Well, affordable housing is expensive.
Right.
And it's funded almost entirely by grants.
Right.
Of which there are not a lot of.
Correct.
Of which we have a lot of competition for.
Correct.
Because we are an affluent community.
Correct.
So when people are thinking, I want to give a grant somewhere and feel good about it and make a difference.
May not be on this side of Austin.
Not going to be on this side of Austin, right? Our property values are much higher than everywhere else, right? The people here are already very affluent.
Right.
Our affordable housing percentage is actually really good. It's somewhere north of 25%.
Right. Yeah. For a community like ours, right? That's
median property
something.
Values of like $500,000.
Right.
Like it is extremely difficult to have affordable housing rates at the level we do with the high median property values that we have. Right. So when you're looking at that as someone who wants to contribute money to a municipality to get affordable housing going,
right.
We're not top of list, right? Because they're like, my money could go further somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Right. And so we greenlit and we contributed a few $1 million to affordable housing projects, and those projects will be per unit more expensive than Albion was to build.
That's
per
fascinating.
Unit. Right?
Right.
So when you think about why we don't do more direct build affordable housing, because if I can get 300 units at 100,000 a unit or whatever it is, it was, versus getting 30 units, right, at like 3 times of what Albion was, or it's 2 or 3, something like that.
Whatever the multiplier is, it's a multiplier,
right? Like you're obviously going to put the money to work in a place where the lever is greater. Right.
Because again, increase the supply.
Increase the supply, you're going to get affordable housing out of it either way.
Right.
So
indirect or directly.
Right. So sometimes it just makes sense, right? Like the trust that the math works, that all the papers are correct, that all the evidence that's been cited is real, right, and do the thing that's been shown to work, right, versus doing the thing that we wish. Worked.
Exactly. And I think what folks need to take away is it sounds like a leap of faith, but it's not.
It's not.
Because the math works. To your point, right?
There are many reports on this stuff.
Right.
And like the data's out there. The data's here.
Right. Probably we probably already have that data.
It has happened here.
Exactly.
RJ, from 2018 to 2020, what's this, 2024, we went from 18 to 23 to like 25% affordable housing percentage in the village. The thing that we did over that time is we built a crap load of housing units.
Housing.
Yes, absolutely.
And we all know where they are.
Right. Absolutely. And in lockstep with those, with building those units, our affordable housing moved up. And we did not build very many direct build affordable housing units during that same time. Right? Like, I mean, if you just look at the data tells you what you want.
It's right there. Right, exactly.
So you just
the math
stop fighting it. Right. Like, just don't
come on board, folks.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Right. It's true. Yeah.
So, to your point, right? Like, how do we convince more folks?
Right.
Oh man, I don't know. It's because I'll tell them the truth, and I try to tell them the truth in a number of different ways, right? Like, and I use math for folks who I feel like the math will be good for. I give narrative to folks who I feel like more narrative than story based, right? Like, I paint the picture, but sometimes folks got to come to their own conclusion eventually.
Right. Yeah. You can only do so much, right?
You can only do so much,
right? But I think as the story continues to get out there, right, then we'll continue to see those increases, and I think we'll see the impact that all of this does, right? But sometimes it's hard, right? That we don't always see that impact, right?
So I'll tell you the biggest thing though that I do, in this role, and that I think is often folks miss. You just got to be courageous and believe that in the things that you're doing. Like, I know that this is what works. And so I got to convince 3 other people. And so I'm only trying to convince 3 other people.
Right.
There are 54,000 people in Oak Park. Right. Like I've still got 2 years before I got to start trying to think about convincing them
those
again.
folks. Right. To re-up.
Re-up. But, I got 3 other people on the board with me that I need to convince in order to actually get things done. And so that's where I do my focus, because it's about the courage of doing the thing that you know is right, even when the world doesn't necessarily agree with you or doesn't, or is ignorant to that outcome.
Right.
So that's a lot of it is just sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's forgetting to I'm not going to convince everybody.
Right.
I don't care.
Right. Well, in essence, you really don't need to. Right. I mean, you do, but you don't. Right. But to move the needle, it's a smaller subset of the larger. Right. And so so I think as I've listened to you and continue to learn from you, just really appreciate all the work that you're doing, inside, outside the bubbles, inside, outside the squares, whatever the boxes are, you're doing it, right? You're getting it done.
You give me too much credit, but I appreciate it.
No, dude, you are seriously, I'm sure you don't, but when you do, whenever that will be, when you look back, like, oh my gosh, there was a lot of stuff that was getting done on my watch, right? And
I hope so.
And I think that's, just know that that's happening, right? And eventually you'll see that, right? And just know that people are seeing it, right? And so that's great. And I think kind of the intersection for me is the communicator, right? Right. All of the various pieces that we've talked about today. For you, that intersection is the communicator, because it's making the 3 bubbles, the 3 circles, just keep moving, keep grooving.
Yeah, for someone who, before 2018, I told you I was an introvert.
Right. I don't believe that. I'm going to have to see some footage. Right?
I don't know if I believe it anymore either. I know.
You were introverted name only, right? You were calling yourself that, right?
It was true. I know it was true. I was there. However,
I need another witness. To verify that.
There's no way I can convince anybody anymore, man. It's just impossible.
Dude, no.
Like,
this
is you introvert?
Right.
Yeah, no, whatever.
No, I don't think you understand what that is.
I don't know, and but I'm still like, I'm not nervous. I know you. I've known you for a long time,
exactly.
RJ, and I do a podcast, right? So,
right.
So this whole thing, this is, but I sometimes give a talk, right, like at a ServiceNow conference or something like that. And before I get up on stage, I'm like, I am sweating. It's like hands are the whole 9 yards,
that
right?
Little nervous energy beforehand, like
I'm like,
I'm not eating before I go up, right?
Yep. All of that. And for somebody who everyone thinks this is natural,
right?
But it's like it's
still
not.
There's still a little bit in there, right?
Yeah,
I hear
absolutely.
that.
But I will tell you what, this is the cheat code, though. If you want to get better at public speaking, do a podcast.
There you go.
Because it feels like there is an audience in this room with us right now. Now, there are a couple folks. Hey, guys.
Right.
So we do have a couple folks in the room with us right now. But it feels like there are like dozens upon dozens of folks in this room.
Right.
And so you start to communicate in a way that that you would in front of a crowd.
Right.
But you normalize it a little bit more in your head.
Because it's just you and I.
Because it's just you and I. Right. So if you do it over and over and over again, eventually you forget the crowd.
Right. And it's just a conversation, right?
It's just a conversation.
Right. It's not a big presentation. It's not a big discussion. It's just, we're just having a conversation. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I cringe sometimes. I go back and look at some of the interviews I did like during 2018, 2019 when I ran for board first time. And I hate saying I was bad at anything. I don't think I was.
There was room
good,
for improvement.
How
about that?
Definitely room for improvement. And people will say, "No, man, you were good," and I was like, "Not by my standards."
I appreciate you saying that. I don't agree.
No, not at all. Was not good at all. And so, but that was one of the things that when I thought about should I do this podcast, 'cause my buddy was like pushing.
Yeah.
I was like, well, maybe it'll make me a better public speaker.
There you go.
And that's something that I was really pushing for at the time. I was considering joining Toast.
Right.
Just those things, because I just was not hitting the mark where I wanted to be.
Because there is something about repetition, right?
Absolutely.
It breeds a little bit of a level of confidence and a level of, I think I got this.
It gets rid of the anxiety.
There you go.
And that was one of the things that I think was really causing me to not hit the mark on performance where I wanted to be.
Right.
Is that I would walk into these situations and I'm anxious.
Right.
Because I know the stuff that they're going to ask me.
Totally.
But like in the moment, like I get asked and it's just all blank. It just goes away.
Right.
And now though, it's much better. Like
comfort level and just, you're able to just keep bringing it.
And just get it. And then I learned some other tricks too, right? Like, before you go on a podcast, like write a blog post about the thing that you're going to be discussing.
Oh, nice.
Right. So now instead of actually thinking about your answers, you're calling the things that you wrote about. Right. So it's already top of mind. So you're not like searching for the actual answer.
Right. But the challenge with that, I will say, is when you write something out and then you realize like, oh, shoot, I didn't hit everything, but you're the only one that knows that. Right. So it's having the ability to just keep going, even though oh snap, there were 4 things and I only got 3 of them.
Yes. Right? And I've done that before.
Right.
And you just keep going.
You got to keep going. You got to keep, because it's seamless to the audience. Right. And that's where you feel like, okay, I kind of got this now.
Yeah. I was doing a keynote at a ServiceNow conference, knowledge conference last year. For their CreatorCon keynote, and it was amazing. I loved it.
So good.
But we had like, what do you want to call it?
Like a teleprompter or something?
Yeah, and down at the foot of the stage, right? And so there, we'd already kind of talked about like the points we're going to hit, and so they were on the thing, and then it gets back around to me, and the first time it goes through, we're like, good, everything's great. Right. Gets back around to me, teleprompter goes off.
No.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm just here. I'm here, man, and I am here, and I'm feeling naked. And,
all right, here's what I got.
Yeah, and then the question is asked, and I'm like, all right, here we go. And, and I ramble, I rattle off the things that I thought about. I missed like 2 points that I was going to make because I didn't see them.
Exactly.
But, I mean, but it all came off nice. It was really fluid, really polished, and moved on to the next person. Nobody knew.
Yeah. And everyone thought, oh, man, he crushed that.
Absolutely. When I was talking to the host later, and I was like, hey, teleprompter went out, and I had to kind of improvise. She was like, really? I didn't know
Seamless. Again, seamless.
But again, practice, because I practiced that, and I practiced that, and we did practice as a group, but also practice myself, right? Because if you don't practice, like you don't get that repetition, anxiety does creep in, right? So that's one of those things, right? So many things that I wish I'd have known, like growing up, that I'd only learned like later in life, right? One of those things is practice alleviates anxiety.
Yeah,
that's number one.
That's a really good, right?
And anxiety is like a performance killer, right? So you want to practice. The other thing is networking is the number one skill you need to know in life, right? And and that comes into for Oak Leyden as well, right? Like you really the more people I know that I can bring into this mission, right? The better this mission does.
Amen.
Right, and so for me, it's always just about expanding my network, and the key to doing that though is not to be a taker, but to be a giver.
Amen. Right.
There are so many people who think, well, how do I network? Like I just need something. Do I find the person who has the thing? Say no. You find the people who you can help.
Right.
And you help those people.
Yep.
And your good works will eventually get around to the people you need it to. Right. So you just got to figure out what you can do to help. And help. It'll all come back full circle.
I love it.
Absolutely.
That is perfect. That is perfect. I think we're going to end on that because that was just awesome. Listen to the man. Listen to the man. He knows of what he speaks, right? So again, Cory, thank you for joining us. Episode number 4. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, folks. The Intersection by Oak Leyden. Thank you.
Smash that like button. I always wanted to say that.
Love it.